hello. Let me check the stream. Ciao tutti. Kathy is here. Excellent condition. We've got the chat up. And the stream is live. We did it, everybody. We made it. We made it another day. I'm going to light this joint. I am smoking. Boop. Bing. I am smoking this styrofoam. Wait, let me make sure that's in focus. There. Kind of. There-ish. Styrofoam. Indica. From Team Elite Genetics. Lineage, Sunset Sherbert, and GMO, aka MSG, bred by Canorado Genetics. Highly potent, heavily intoxicating, full-bodied indica. Sedative, but motivational high. Sure. The flavor is pungent gasoline and delicious fresh-baked cookies with sweet and musky undertones. What a spectrum of flavors that is. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time with this styrofoam cup. I also have some PGB, also from Team Elite Genetics. Was in that kind of a mood the other day. And let's start off with reading some questions from the broadcast channel on Instagram. I'm going to post there and say answering now. I'll post this again because sometimes I feel like people don't see what I post. Does that make sense? Okay, let me look at my chat so things don't get away from me. Christopher, let's infuse stuffing. You got it. We'll infuse some stuffing Saturday. And he says, hit that like button. Thank you. Eddie Moretti, he liked and he's ready to go. Lee Elliott, hi everyone. Hi Lee. Hi Esther. Welcome back to the Club Sesh. JL Sanders was popping everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy Weed Wednesday. That's right. We love Weed Wednesday. Okay, Eddie Moretti, calm down. Hi, Madam Dram. I'm just making sure we're on track, okay? I'm just making sure we're staying on track because I get very distracted, okay? I get distracted and stoned. That's what I do. This is a nice little lemon honey tea. Hi, Madame Dram. Hi, Chicano. Juarez. We have some people here, and I have a bunch of questions. You can see that from my broadcast channel. I said hi to Kathy, Eddie Moretti. I said hi to Kathy Sachs. She was one of the first people I said hi to because she said ciao tutti. I always say hi to Kathy. Don't worry. I am saying hi to everyone. We'll hold our horses, okay? Just enjoy this joint that I rolled. Hi, John. Hi, Jeff. How's it going? Hello, everyone. We're waiting a little bit longer. I have a lot of questions from Instagram, so we might not answer all of them, okay? But I want to get through these. So let's get started, if that's okay with everyone. Yes, I wish everyone would join. Come hang out in the Club Sesh on Wednesdays and on Saturdays. We have a kitchen sesh. I cook live. This last Saturday was really fun. Really wild. Winslow was so happy because he had a big plate of Thanksgiving sides. Okay, so And you can join the Patreon because that's where we have our group chat, which is really awesome. I love the group chat. Let me put that link in if you guys want to join there. If you haven't joined that, you should join the Real Edibles Club because that's where the fun shit happens. We have lots of conversations. My members can tell you all about it. Hi, everyone. Keef infused turkey bag. Wait, what is happening? Hey, I won't chat much. Okay, Gabriel, it's here. Just wanted to say I loved you since Bong Appetit. Thank you very much. That's very nice of you to say. You guys can join. I don't know what .c is. This is the club link. Hi, Michelle. Michelle can tell you all about the group chat. We are always chatting up a storm in there. Vintage Vanier, Keef infused turkey bag. That's funny. I don't know what you mean by that. Batter Al Ali. Welcome to the club sesh. Everyone, hit the button, pay the lady. Join the Patreon. We haven't quite gotten to the point where the YouTube can have like super chat and all of that, but we're working on it. We are building. The channel is growing. Every day it grows. I love it. It really does. Every day it grows. And so does the club. So it does. I guess we have so many exciting things happening. I know you all, most of you, if you're part of my Patreon and you have been for a while, I had a series up called Incredible Edibles where I went to Thailand and I cooked with all of these amazing edible makers in Bangkok, in Hat Yai, which is in the south, and then on the island, Koh Tao. And it was a really awesome experience. And it's going to be posted. It's going to be premiered on December 1st on Vice. Vice is going to do it. So there you go. That is happening. So I got confirmation today, and I'm excited about that. So, because we put a lot of work into that. My producer, Nook, we worked really hard planning, and she had to coordinate everything and get hotels, and we traveled. We took a bus down to the south. So yeah, that hopefully will have bigger club sessions going forward, although I do like how intimate these ones are, like hanging out with everybody. Okay, let us begin these questions. I want to make sure I can still see my analytics for the live stream. There we go. Hot. Okay. So Adam Baum Corral, I don't know if I said your last name correctly. Sorry, maybe it's Carol. How long have you been cooking infused dishes? I talk about this in my cookbook, How to Eat Weed and Have a Good Time. If you haven't pre-ordered that, please do. It's in my introduction. I tell how I started in edibles. It's kind of a crazy story. Not crazy, but just it's a funny story. It's just, someone finding a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. This is my cookbook link. You can order through any of the links there, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, BAM, whatever, and pre-ordering really helps me. So if you want to show me some love, please pre-order my cookbook. It's really awesome. Anyway, so I started, first edible I ever made was an apple pie. I tell this story. It was on 420 in Santa Cruz. It was a 420 party, and this guy just handed me a jar of very potent canna butter. And I was like, well, shit, I'll make an apple pie. I was like, I don't know what to do with this. It's huge. I was like, how much of it can I use? He's like, you can use the whole thing. And I was like, okay. Because for me, I was like, oh, it's precious, And I know, Esther, I know. I can't wait for April. And so I made an apple pie, very potent, because that butter was like, who knows how. Back then it was like, they didn't have milligrams. It would just be like XXX or whatever. Right? So I got way too stoned off of that apple pie. Like multiple day edible high. And I was like, fuck, that feels very different from smoking pot. But it was delicious, right? Weed really tastes good in food. It has this, like, depending on this, you know, what the flour you're using tastes like, but it has like this, in that pie, I don't know, I might have had the munchies already. It was just so good. I just remember being like, I'll have a little bit more, and then not knowing what an edible feels like. So that was the first experience. It was my first time cooking with weed, and also my first experience eating edibles. And then after that, I started, like, you know, messing around at home. Marigold, I started selling edibles 2010, a little bit before that, but they weren't anything special, you know. I taught myself how to make chocolate, how to temper chocolate, how to make caramel, how to do candy. I always was into cooking as a kid, but I got more into it. So I know the emojis are great. It makes me feel like you're enjoying this conversation. So I deep dive more into like how I started Marigold and how that all got started in the book. It's a good story, and it talks about, you know, meeting a certain grower, and that's really important when you're making edibles, is like, who are you sourcing from? So I'm excited. Sonoma Hills Farm wants to work with me for Marigold to do strain. You know, we're going to press one of their strains, one of their more fruity strains, floral, and make a live rosin for Marigold for Valentine's Day, hopefully. Okay, so I have another question from Instagram. It's a me, Coley. I don't know. That's how they say it. But she wants to know, Nicole Howell. Okay. Wants to know, what is your hair care routine? It's always fab. Really? Thank you. That's so nice. It is, I actually put it in my storefront. It's a lot of products. I'm going to be honest with you. It's a lot of products. And I have, like, let me send this to you guys. If you are interested in the products that I use, also, it's your hair, right? Oh, Eddie Moretti, the farm is called Sonoma Hills Farm, and they're great. They're known for their Pink Jesus strain. This is a link to all of the beauty products I use, beauty essentials, if you want to see. Not all of them, but the ones that you can get online. I use SPF for my skin, and I use, for my hair, I have to moisturize it a lot. It all depends on your hair type, right? I have a lot of hair everywhere. I'm, you know, hairy arms. I gotta wax. Gotta tweeze things. It's not fun. But one of the benefits of it is that I have a big head of hair, you know? So, but it kind of gets frizzy because it's a little bit, it is a little wavy. So I'm always trying to add moisture to my hair. So I use this one brand. I won't go too deep into this question because I know most people don't really give a fuck what I use in my hair, but I'm still going to answer it because people want to know. I use this one brand. I'm going to say this incorrectly. Szechuan. I've been using it for years. It's what my hairstylist up in San Francisco would use on my hair. It's what Daniel Moon uses now. I think it's like Swedish or something. It's fancy. But it's not like crazy expensive though. So I use that, and I use their leave-in conditioner, and then I use Virtue restorative mask, and I use, like, it's all for me. How do I get it less frizzy? And then if I let it air dry, it's like wavy. And then if you've ever seen videos of me, my hair is kind of wavy. That's because I didn't blow dry it. Today I kind of blew it dry a little bit because I didn't want to get sick, because I Italians kind of have a thing with like a wet head and it's cold out, you can get sick. Anyway, so they're all up there. I put some K18, again, moisture, get rid of frizz, but it's still a little bit frizzy. And that's like if I really want to be fancy about my hair, I put it in like rollers, and I do that. Sometimes I've got that look going and it's kind of cute. And it comes out like super voluminous and fun. Okay, so next question. I hope that answered your question. I'll send that link in the broadcast channel too, in case you're not here. I don't know if you're here. Michael Vasquez. What sparked, no pun intended, I think you intended that pun, Michael. What sparked your interest in cooking with cannabis? Oh my God, you know what, you guys? I have not been talking into the mic enough. Let me move this here. That's better, right? That's better. Okay, so what sparked my interest in cannabis, cooking with cannabis? Well, I first fell in love with smoking weed, I got stoned. And I was like, this is for me. I like this. This feels lovely. It makes me feel relaxed and less anxious, and I want to eat things, and I'm laughing, and I'm having a good time. That's how it felt for me. Not always, but most of the time. And then I started cooking with it at that Santa Cruz party, and then professionally I started because one, there wasn't really anything in the market at the time other than like snickerdoodles and brownies, and those things have a really short shelf life. You don't buy a 2-day-old brownie, and if you do, you get it at a discount. That's why you don't see them in legal dispensaries. But when I started, there was no one really existed. So, and if they did, it was like I said, wrapped in saran wrap. There were no regulations. So I was like, okay, this is something. But shops were opening. You could get your medical card. It was Prop 215. Again, I talk about all of this in my cookbook. But so then I just started kind of fucking around. People would give me garbage bags full of trim. I would meet growers. I was friends with chefs. I was friends with people who, like restaurant people. And so they had connections. And then the clothing store, I worked through college. I always had a job since I was 15 years old. Worked at See's Candy. See's Candy is how I came up with Marigold. I was like, well, I know it has a long shelf life and tastes good and everybody wants to eat it and would be a good edible because, candy, caramel, chocolate, all that. So See's was really my inspiration. I was a holiday helper. I had the white button-up little dress thing and the bow, and they would let you eat as many samples as you wanted in your 2 15-minute breaks. And so I would just stuff my face full of See's candy. Oh my God, it was disgusting. I make myself sick and then forget about how sick I was the next time I worked. Anyway, so it was twice a week I was allowed to work at See's. I don't know how we got on See's, but okay. I'm going to answer your question, Jack Finnegan. Don't worry. So, and also Petra Taylor, my first edible was chocolate ice cream. That sounds amazing. I love ice cream. Dosed ice cream that's an elite edible. Okay, so See's Candy, worked through school, got a job at a fancy clothing store in San Francisco, and I just saw this hole in a market. I was like, there's no fancy edible. No one's making these right now. I'm going to do it. And then my manager at the clothing store, you have to read this story in the book because I'm not doing it justice, but it's much better. I met a grower through him. She gave me a bunch of hash. I had no idea what to do with it. Put way too much into cookies and was like, fuck, okay, this is very, very potent, which is awesome. Because the shake people would give me, I'd be like, I don't know what to do with this. There was no information online, really, decarboxylation, nothing on that.
And so I just kind of had to, and people were like secretive, and they still are secretive about their process of making edibles. So I think just like getting to the bottom of it, like wanting to understand more about how to cook with this plant, to just see it as like an ingredient that, and a medicine that is so versatile and interesting and powerful and misunderstood and misrepresented, and there's just so much potential with it. So that is what sparked my interest in cooking with cannabis. It was like this holy shit moment of, you can cook with this plant that I love to smoke so much. Well, I love cooking and I love smoking weed. Okay, I'm going to do something with that. And then I was working with this, as far as like how Marigold started, like doing it professionally with making chocolates. Like, I didn't know what to do after college, and I was kind of like futzing around with edibles and trying things out and giving them to friends. But I worked with this professor emeritus. I was like an assistant to him and would cook for him. And I was like, should I go to grad school? And he was like, I'm sorry, Vanessa, you're not an academic. And he meant that in the nicest way possible. He's like, you're a saleswoman, and you should make something and you should sell it. And I was like, well, if I sell anything, I know I have to believe in what I'm selling. That's why you don't see me selling like CBD chocolates or anything like that, because CBD is really valued for its anti-inflammatory benefits. And so I don't really see the point of putting it into a chocolate. I also I'm not a medical expert. I'm an expert at getting people high. So that's what I do. And so anyway, that's how it all started. Hope that answered that question. Okay, so Jack Finnegan. Jack, I'm going to tell this person, join my live. Because I don't want to. Okay, so Jack Finnegan, please tell me about the Vice channel. Did it implode? Vice Land, the TV channel, I don't really know what's going on, but the assets were sold to, this is all public knowledge, you can just Google it, but the assets were sold to a company in Tennessee. Wait, let me look at, anyway, so they were sold to, I don't know what kind of company it is, but they're based in Tennessee. And so I reached out to them to see, like, I'm like, what are you guys doing with Bong Appetit? And so we started talking, and I was like, well, I have this show I shot in Thailand, and, I'd love to get more people to see it because we put so much work into it, and I think the stories are really beautiful, and the food was so amazing. It just feels like such a shame that, I only have my platform. It's only as big as it is. Putting it onto Vice will be a lot more eyeballs on this content. So I don't know if they've like totally imploded, but yeah, it definitely isn't what it used to be, and it's sad. And but they also are the only place that will put out cutting edge content like this. People won't touch weed. I think we all live in like this bubble that everyone is cool with cannabis, and we're going to dive into that a little bit later. But a lot of Netflix did a couple of things, other streamers did a couple of things, cable television, no one but Vice that I know of has put out any cannabis content on TV. Streamers have, and it's always kind of got this touch of like making fun of people in cannabis. Does that make sense? Like, not all of it, but some of it just feels like they think we're, stereotypes. So anyway, hope that kind of answers that question. Michelle, know what? I don't know what. Since making my half pound of butter and using more than half of it already, I'm rather concerned and disappointed in myself. Like, what the fuck? I cannot gain weight with this. Oh no. Have you just been getting like really stoned on edibles? You can infuse olive oil, you could do like salad dressing. If you, I feel the same way. I don't want to do like a salad, but you can if you wanted to. We did a salad. We did a Caesar salad. Not the healthiest of salads, but whatever. And Michelle, I'm going to make CBD dog treats cool and get the dosing from the vet I worked for. Most recently, she was going to buy a farm in California for medicinal purposes for our patients. That's cool. Yeah, I feel like CBD for dogs makes so much sense just to kind of like, help with any kind of, it's anti-anxiety. It does help with keeping you kind of mellow. And I bet but you want such high amount from what I've read, right? Again, I'm not like a medical expert, but with CBD, you want such a high amount of it to have these effects that it can have on our body, that those like little 5 milligram gummies and shit like that, they're really not, like, what are they going to do? Not much. And it's better in combination with THC. So, but now anyway, we could talk about this all day long. MJ Lee, what do you do in the cannabis industry? Are you an edible maker as well? Tell us your story. Eddie Moretti, you want to gain weight, Michelle? No, she doesn't want to gain weight. So she's trying to dose it super potent. People like my chocolates stronger because they don't want to eat the whole chocolate. They're like, I just want to have like a little sliver of your chocolate every once in a while so that, I don't eat so much chocolate. People are, watching their figures. I wonder the dose for large dogs. They get arthritis so bad. All animals do, but large dogs have it rough. Yeah, they do. And their hips, if they're running around, their hips always get fucked up. I would talk to a vet. A vet knows way better. I'm not a vet. I'm going to answer another question from Brad Erickson. Do you have a favorite strain of flower? I kind of love them all. I definitely am an OG Kush kind of a girl. I love OG. I used to be into this one strain that is called Pincher's Creek. The other way of calling it was Green Crack, but we call it Pincher's Creek. Michelle, I do have not infused potato chips, but I did an infused like a Doritos chip in the cookbook. Eddie Moretti, 2 milligram edibles? No, Eddie Moretti, would you ever make a microdose candy or chocolate for Marigold? Yeah, I can do that. I mean, basically, the higher the dose, the more you can charge, right? So if I could do way higher dose, I can charge more money, even though technically, like, it's not costing me that much more. But people don't think in those terms. They think, how high am I going to get? So I'd have to, the people who would want a microdose like that, I don't know how often they're going to the dispensary. It's like trying to know who's going to the market and if there's a market for such a low dose. I would do a 2 milligram, something that you would eat more of if you wanted to. Do you know what I mean? And that's not as difficult to make as the chocolates. Like the caramels, like if I did the caramels unrobed, not enrobed in chocolate, so just, like wrapped caramels like you see at the point of sale of cafes and things like that. I would just do those and have those be like 2 milligrams or 5 milligrams so people can eat like 10 of them if they wanted to. Okay. All right, Michelle, have a good night. Thanks for joining us. I hope you'll come back. We'll be here for a little bit. MJ Lee, I'm brand new, but I'm coming out hard. Been on a large-scale EDM promoter in Atlanta for 30 years. Wow. But I'm just getting involved in the cannabis industry. Well, congratulations. Welcome to the cannabis industry. It is an interesting one. Jeff, do you ever cook with full extract cannabis oil, also known as FICO? Yes, I do, and I have on the Edibles Club. Are you a member? Are you, Jeff? Have you been watching, Jeff? I mean that in the nicest way. MJ Lee, I'm not going to do a podcast that's going to be, but I'm going to do a podcast that's going to be awesome, and we are starting our own brand of products to go with podcasts. Awesome. Great. Podcasts, man. I thought about doing that. We're kind of doing a podcast here. It's just live. It's a live podcast. Harry Lee is looking forward to my cookbook. And Chris Anderson says it's the best club. I agree. It is the best club. Thank you so much. This is a great question from, let me say great question. I'm going to tell this girl. Natash Vale. Great question. And I'm answering now. Okay, so Natash Vale wants to know, can I substitute any oil in any recipe for infused one? The answer is yes. You can substitute any oil in any recipe with infused oil. It is that easy. Isn't that awesome? I love it. Let me give you this link, sir. You just bought my book? Thank you. I love it. You guys don't understand how much it helps me. The pre-orders. It's all about the pre-orders. So yeah, Natasha, you can totally substitute any oil in any recipe for infused oil. I ran a lot of tests on how to infuse oil. Excuse me, this tea. To see how long it takes at different temperatures, like at I have to look at my charts, but I did definitely 245 because I was like, well, we're decarbing at that temperature, so why don't we infuse at that temperature too? And oils have like 245 isn't that high of a temperature that an oil is going to burn or smoke. So I just put them in the oven. That's how I maintain the heat. I bet you could do like a slow cooker too if you set it on really low and just put your oil in there, but it doesn't take very long, okay, at that temperature. Okay, Brian, I think that they're in the stream, Eddie. I don't know. There's no way for me to know for sure unless they raise their hand. So if I'm answering any of your questions, please let me know. What do you say, Gare Bear? What do you say to those that say that edibles don't work on me? My tolerance is too high. I think it's has to do. I don't know for sure. You know, this is like an educated guess. I'm not gonna clean this. It's still good. Oh, actually, I have an insane one I can use that's clean. I'm gonna get one more question on here. Interesting. Let me write some of these down maybe because I want to show you my rolling. I wish I could like send all of these. Let me take a screenshot. I'm going to take a screenshot and then I'm going to send it to my computer so I can put my phone up and you can watch me roll. Boo, boo, boo. We had a lot of questions. I'm not going to answer all of them because some of them are like, date me and are you dating anyone? And I'm just like, none of your business. It's none of your business. That's not part of, I know you all think it's part of this job. It's not part of this job. I am 38 years old. I've been pretty private about my personal life. So we're going to keep it that way. Wait, sending. Eddie Moretti, I am telling them, yes, I'm going to do the second camera. I'm just trying to get these questions off of my phone onto the computer so I can put it, no, I'm good. Maybe, we got concentrates. Winslow's texting me. Sorry, he wants to know if I want anything from Cornerstone. Okay, so let me put this in the holder. I was looking at the questions, right? And so now we can put this in here. And I'm going to roll a joint because that's what we do. Look at it. It's almost right. You can see. I tried, everybody. It's not quite perfect. Maybe I can zoom in. There. Okay. That's good enough, right? We love it. Okay. Brian Skitch. Greetings, Earthlings. When you get a sinus cold, do you default to edibles or pause all forms until you feel better? Yeah, I think edibles would be a good way to deal with a sinus cold, you know? And then you're giving your throat a little bit of a, combusting. It's not good for us to smoke. It's better for us to eat edibles. It's just but a less inflammatory, I'm using that word a lot tonight, method of consuming cannabinoids. But they're different, right? Because when we eat it, it's 11-hydroxy THC, and when we smoke, it is delta-9 THC predominantly. So predominantly for both, And so it just feels different. I'm sorry, I am edible stoned right now. I'm not going to lie. Why? Because I made a banana bread pudding. Bananas Foster. Is it Bananas Foster or Banana Foster? Someone help. Okay. I need to make sure I'm getting all of these questions and stuff here because I'm losing track. And this chat is getting wild. Okay. So, Jeff said he's going to join and that he bought the book. I saw that. Eddie asked if the Instagram people are in the stream. I don't know. MJ wants to get me on the podcast. Okay, sounds good. Jeff, will there be a way to get signed copies of your cookbook after release? Jeff, you can pre-order those right now, mister. Right now. Let me show you where. How to eat weed and have a good time. Now serving. Get them while you can because I think they only ordered a few. You can also get my friend Nicole Rucker's book. There's my book. Why is it all the way at the bottom? Now serving. How rude. Just joking. We love it. Let me get you this link. Boo, boo, boo. This is the link. I hope it works. Okay. I think they're able to. The weekday lives are public. Yes, all of our lives, Michelle, I've been going public this whole time. Can you believe it? And we might leave it that way because it's pretty fun. That's right, Michelle. I'm dating you. There you go. Michelle and I are in a relationship. Deal with it, people. Do you guys like my tiny little mic? It's very feminine. Bananas Foster, so it's plural bananas. Oops, I got that wrong. Banana bread pudding. It's all about that bread pudding. Okay. We make our own decarbed weed. Come, Kathy Sachs is always right. Come to the flower vape side. You sound like Darth Vader. Come to the flower. I can't do his voice, but if I could, that's how I heard it in my head. I know. I need to get a vape. I need to get a vape. Okay. Eddie Moretti, wild chat for sure. Okay. Bananas Foster. I know I got it wrong. It's not plural Fosters. Is it? I thought it was Bananas Foster. I don't think it's both plural. I think it's one plural. Okay. Harry Lee is here from Instagram. So there you go. Ash Estero, is that you? Esther O, yeah, it is. It's Esther O. JL Sanders, edibles give me paranoia 10 times 10 when I get too high. Yeah, they are easy to overdo it. That's why that's the end of my book title. How to eat weed and have a good time. Okay, I'm reading all of these. Cheers, Saikuno, aka Mad Smoka. Saludos de Ciudad Juárez. Saludos de Los Angeles. Los Angeles. You're not supposed to pronounce the J. I'm getting better. Gare Bear, Bananas General. Love it. Ash gave me a smoke sign. Buenos Ciudad Juárez. JL Sanders, I think that's why I'm not really a big fan of edibles. Well, that's a bummer. I think we're all this is the edibles club. Okay. Tiny Mike gives street interview vibes, I know. It's funny. Desde Guatemala. Wow, we are an international club. Fantastico amigos de Latin America. I love it. MJ Lee just bought the signed book. You guys are going to love that story. The stories are good. The stories are good. Okay. I want to look at these questions, right? I sent them to my phone. I screen grabbed them. And we're going to roll this fucking joint because I've been... Look at my things all fucked up. Where's my... Okay. I wonder if I can show you guys this. Let me see if I can add something, friends. Add. Uh-oh, I hope I don't do something bad. Not a browser. I don't want to do the whole... I wanted to do this, but I didn't know how to do it. Mac screen capture. I'm trying to make sure I don't have anything. Let's do this. So I have to do... I'm trying to like get the... Sorry, I'm confusing you all. But I'm trying to show you... I want to get this... questions, and I don't know if I can. Oops, look at what I just did. I think it's a window capture, and I want it to go to preview. Yeah. Yeah, that's a little too big. Oops. But now I can just bring them on here. Oh, look, you can see my battery sitch. But I don't know where to put these because we don't got enough room here. And my head's getting smaller. Maybe we should switch to the other screen. Sitch. Let's go to club/browser. Oops, no, let's not do that. Oh no. I want to just show, I don't want to read these off, but I have to. We'll just put them there, okay? They're going to live there for now, okay? I don't want to keep opening windows. Jeff ordered a signed copy too. Oh my goodness. What's the best rolling paper? Petra wants to know. Let's see. I like Elements are good. Zigzag is pretty good. I just heard Raw is kind of not great. What else? Who else? There's also Blazy Susan. I've been using Blazy Susan. Do you ever do this? You have to like poke out the holes. This grinder is just okay. You see these questions here. You want to see the rolling camera full screen? Well, where's my head gonna go? Okay, I'll disappear. Let me put it underneath. Put the YouTube chat above it. And let me put, is that good? We'll just leave it like this. You guys don't need to see my fucking face right now, okay? Maybe that's past with Raw. Ocha Nomu, sorry. I don't know. I'm just like, there's so many people trying to make it in this industry. Raw's, trying to make it. They're massive. Stay put. Oh no. No, Harry Lee, we haven't done any of this. Is going to be a long live, okay? So stick around, okay? We're not going anywhere. Oh wait, should I roll this up? This is what I've been smoking, the styrofoam. But I haven't tried the PCB. PGB? I can't read that. Pineapple Pez Melonade Paradise number 2. Fun. PGB. And this is limonene, myrcene, beta-caryophyllene, linalool, pinene. Nice. 30% it says. Who knows if that's accurate? We don't fucking know. We don't know unless we go and get it tested. Kathy Sachs likes my Tom of Finland rolling tray. She loves my sexy daddies. I was raised by drag queens in San Francisco, so... Okay, look at this flower. Wait, there we go. She got it in focus. Look at her go, everyone. She's doing it. We're going to take a little nug out. Look at, here we go. Ooh, baby. These guys stuck together because they're so sticky. They're so sticky. Ooh. This is nice. We love it. We love. Oh my God, Winslow's here. What the fuck, Winslow? Holy shit, everybody. Say hi to Winslow. Winslow, do you know what happened with the Raw hoopla? What happened with all that shit? Okay. I am going to put this styrofoam. I don't like to mix. You know, I like to keep it. This strain is this strain and that strain is... that one. Sometimes, like, fucking A, man. Look at what I did. You guys, this is who I am as a stoner. I do that. Okay, whatever. Styrofoam. Go away. Oh, wait. No, there's still some in the grinder. I gotta get this out. Unless I'm... Oh, I keep spelling weed. Unless I'm at the very end of my stash, then I have to... Oh, you don't know about it, Winslow? They had some drama. Okay? There was some drama. Like, they were saying they were using hemp papers, and they weren't using hemp papers. Oh, no. I lost. You want to know why? Because someone wanted my face full screen. Or didn't want my face. And then people were like, well, where'd she go? I'm right here, everybody. We'll do it this way. Okay? I wish I could, like, cut off a little bit of this video. Of this, like, screen here. The rolling screen. Okay. Here we do. I'm not stoned. You're stoned. Winslow, I'm feeling the banana pudding. Banana bread pudding. So then I shove this all in here. And we put this all here. What's trippy? Because my hands are up top. I know. Is that a little weird for people? Should I move it back down? I want to change it here. Let me do this. I can get rid of this. I don't know why I left that up. Okay. So let me see. Okay, let me see if Bonbon is. Let's do questions. Oh wait, maybe I can add it. No. I just blew my paper away. It's okay. Questions. I just wanted to show people these questions that people... Questions too. Oh, add existing. Questions. Okay. And I don't want it to be big. I want it to be small. And I wanted to show people what the fuck is everyone asking. Winslow set this up for me, this scene. Okay? All right. So, there we go. Kokomo. We did it. How's that, friends? Oh, and then where's my... Let's turn the iPhone on. We'll put the iPhone above the questions right now. Why won't it let me? Huh. There we go. So we'll put these questions like this, and we'll answer them two at a time while I roll... Slowly get this joint rolled. And here we go. Hi, dog. I'm sorry, sweet dog. But we're busy at the moment. Okay. Hi, Marvin. Where you been? We missed you. Okay, everyone's here. It's wild. We love it. Hi, Eddie and Winslow, says Marvin. What's crappin', Michelle says. You're so funny, Michelle. Michelle is dabbing sativa, so shit is about to jump off. It's about to get pumping. Hi. Oh, you know what? I forgot to... No, I fed you, you little brat. I thought I didn't feed her for a second, and I almost went to go feed her, but I did feed her. She's just... Whiskey Delta, hello. Okay, so we have B Press 2XX. Could you do a product review of Altafuse flower in one end edibles? Ooh. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. sorry. I just laughed so hard because I was like, I read that just how it was written, and I didn't realize it. The end of it, I didn't understand what that means. Anyway, did I miss the part about the fascist Cheeto? No, I haven't done the Trump stuff yet. We're still answering questions from Instagram. They're taking me a long time. Steph loves you 78. Oh, wait. I actually saw this question and I looked into it. I want to make fudge pops with can of simple syrup. Come here. Sorry, my dog. Fudge pops with can of simple syrup. I need a sub for cornstarch. Well, I think just the recipes I saw online definitely use cornstarch, which is going to like bring it together. I don't know why you can't is an ultrasonic decarboxylator, looks like. Oh, okay. I've never tried that. I could try it out. Bun. No. I'm trying, Kathy. I'm trying to be more stern. No. She just wants treats, and I can't give her treats because then she doesn't shit well. Yeah, we can check that out. We can try it if it's not crazy expensive. I don't know how expensive it is. Fudge pops. I'm trying to think of how you could do it without cornstarch. Like, you could use other starch if you don't want to use corn specifically. I don't know why. You want to thicken it because it's a pudding. So I guess you could use like an egg yolk or something, and you'd have to like cook it and make a pudding. And that's what they're doing. And I wouldn't use a simple syrup because you're adding liquid to it. Now, maybe you have like a recipe that works for you, stuff. So I don't want to totally fuck with it, but you could try adding egg yolk and making like a custard, freezing that. But I would just do, I would infuse the milk. I would get a concentrate and just whisk that into whatever dairy or fat, like if you're using coconut milk, if you're making it a dairy-free fudge pop. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Sorry, buddy. I'm not spending $330 on a decarb machine. I know how to decarb in my oven or on the stove or in the microwave. I spent a lot of money on lab testing to figure all of that out, so I'm good. I would totally try freezing homemade pudding pops. Yeah, I think that, little infused pudding pop, why not? That sounds like a great idea. Why isn't weed coffee a thing? It totally is. They have coffee pods. My manufacturer, I'd have to ask Mark. I don't remember the brand, but they do those Keurig pods with pod in them. So Ogamu weed coffee is totally a thing. Just so you know. It's called a hippie speedball if you want to be a bit insensitive, but it's when you mix the two together. Classic combination. In fact, weed and coffee are such a classic combination that when California legalized, Kiva has those, I think they still have them, the coffee beans. California try to say, like, no, you can't mix weed and coffee. Just like you can't mix weed and alcohol. It's two substances that alter your consciousness. Anyway, so Kiva lobbied in Sacramento to change that because the Kiva chocolate covered beans were so popular that they couldn't lose that SKU. So anyway, yeah, classic combo. let me see. Say it correctly. What correctly? Wait, puddin' pops? Did you want me to say puddin' pops? Is that what you're trying to say correctly? Say it correctly, bitch. Is that what you meant? Okay, I've got to... Where did my chat go? Because I have 2 chats open here. All right. The Electric, you do have a great handle. Let me see. Michelle, you're too much. Yes, it's pudding. That's true. Eddie, it's the sativa talking. Blame it on the sativa. Blame it on the sativa. Oh, she's behind me. I was like, where did my little dog go? And your little dog, too. Do you grow weed? E. Wiley. Not really. No, I'm not really a grower. I'm an edible maker. But I have, like, it's fun. But always right before I'm going to harvest, the bugs get it. Something gets it. So I would grow if I was going to cook with it, right? I wouldn't grow to smoke it because I'm not even showing you what I'm doing. I'm sorry, I'm tamping down. I put some more weed in here. Tamping it down. We're done here. That's as good as it gets for me, okay? And I'm going to rip that little bit off and fold these down. And that's my joint. And then I push it in and I go like that. And it's all, I got weed all over this. And now we can get rid of this iPhone. And I think we can get rid of these questions. Let's see. And then we have my cookbook here. And we're going to pull up the YouTube. How's it going, everybody? We have a lot of questions right now. Let me make this a little bit smaller for myself. I'm becoming slowly more tech savvy. Let's get rid of this. Oh, also Steph Loves You, who wanted to know about the puddin' pops. She doesn't like the consistency with cornstarch. You could try, I would maybe try an egg yolk, but then you got to cook it, you know? Just make chocolate pudding. And it might be a little thick, though. I don't know. I have to play around with it. All right, those answered those questions. Oh, wait, no, there was one more about gummy and fat. So, oh, God, some of these questions, I'm like, I don't want to answer them. Let's keep going here. We're slowly making it through. Someone asked, when I make gummies, Treb more. When I make gummies, the fat always splits. How do I prevent this? You may be putting too much fat in your gummies. You have to use less fat. And so if you want to do that, you might need to use a concentrate if you're making like a butter or something. I don't know how much oil you're putting into your gummy. And then you can use a lecithin. You want me to do Trump videos? Okay, we're done with these questions. We're done with the questions. I hear you. You're heard. You're heard. Let me get these fucking Trump videos. Let's see what this shit means. Oh, you know what I forgot is my ear thing. So let me put this up. Fuck off! Oh, fuck you, man. There we go.
So with former President Donald Trump.
Okay, let me just pause this for a second. Browser is up. I need to get my earpieces in, and give my dog something to do. Here's a codfish treat. Eat that. Hopefully these have some battery in them. Okay, connect. Okay. So I can hear this.
Appearing to win the 2024 presidential contest, America is left wondering what's next. Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Trump diverged on nearly every issue, but one topic saw some common ground: cannabis. Both candidates expressed support for some type of federal reform, mirroring the growing societal shift accepting cannabis as mainstream. Now that Trump has been declared the winner, many want to know what that means for the future of weed. During his initial tenure, President Trump failed to enact much meaningful change, and his attorney general rescinded protections for state legal cannabis operators, although Trump did express that he was against that decision. However, the tide has...
Hold the phone. This shit is fucking delicious. This is yum. Love. Very yummy.
Apparently turned.
The limonene.
Trump expressed support for the rescheduling of cannabis on the campaign trail, process his predecessor's administration initiated in 2022 all the way back there. He also stated that states should be able to decide whether to legalize, and he reportedly voted in favor of legalization in his home state of Florida. Tyler Borline, Chief Strategic Business Officer at cannabis banking firm Safe Harbor Financial, believes the former president will stay the course when he returns to the White House. Quote, the Trump administration will likely place greater emphasis on state autonomy and deregulatory measures, potentially reinforcing a state-led approach to cannabis policy, he said in a statement sent to Green State. However, Borline expressed concern that Trump's policy may not go far enough and the cannabis space will continue to face challenges. While this perspective could allow individual states to set their own cannabis agendas without heavy federal intervention, significant barriers remain for the industry, particularly concerning access to banking services and interstate commerce, Borline added. Bipartisan congressional support will be essential for enacting measures like the Safe Banking Act.
Okay, so if you didn't know this, if you're in the cannabis industry, it is impossible to bank. Not impossible, but kind of. Impossible to bank legally because banks are federally insured. So when you go to a bank, open a bank account for a business account, they ask you, are you in the cannabis industry? Especially in California. And if you answer yes, they will not give you a bank account. So there you go. So the Safe Banking Act is basically to fix that problem, because the reason that banks do not, like I said, the reason they won't open bank accounts for cannabis businesses is because cannabis is a Schedule I drug. Banks are federally insured, so they cannot give a bank account to a business that is selling a Schedule I drug. It's a huge issue in the cannabis industry. It was talked about when Colorado first went legal. There's a ton of cash that ends up, being out in the open, and security becomes one of those professions, the pick and shovel professions for the green rush, where people are making more money providing security for these businesses because they're cash businesses. That's why you see, for the most part, and that's why you see like security people are at dispensaries, because weed is an expensive product. So, Michelle, how do they deal with taxes and payroll shit right now? Well, they open, if you go to a dispensary and they have credit card machine that you can use, it's because they opened another business under a different name, and it has nothing to do with their cannabis business, but it is their management business that's called something else sometimes that I won't call it here, because they haven't really given people any other option, And it's interesting because they'll take, you talk taxes, you bring up taxes, they will take the tax dollars from the cannabis industry and they will put that into a bank account. But those businesses technically cannot do that themselves. So, Smoke Steve, what was your comment? I'm sorry. Shell companies, etc. Yeah. So, anyway, that's the cannabis industry. Hi, little girl. She just wants to play with me. I wonder if I go get her a toy. Well, she'll kind of leave me alone. She was sleeping so nicely. Go get it. Okay, let's keep watching. Also, other problem with taxes is Reagan put in a tax code 280E, and it basically is like if you're a drug kingpin, you can't write off your overhead. And that, as a business, makes it really difficult if you can't write off your overhead. So there's also that. FDIC is fed, yada, yada. Exactly. Same reason when people ask me, they're like, hey, I live in Colorado. It's a legal state here. Can you ship your chocolates to me in Colorado? No, I can't. Anytime I cross state lines, that becomes federal jurisdiction. Non-medicated Marigold sweets, yes. And I'm working on that. We can ship those across state lines, and that is important for your trademark. So there you go. Michelle, it feels like someone dangling a carrot for the rabbit who can't quite get a bite. Yeah. Why still treat us like shit? Because I know we're around people who love what we, like accept us for who we are and that we love this plant. But a lot of people see it as like a stinky drug. And like we're a bunch of stoners, potheads, you fucking stupid potheads. Do you know how many times I get called that? Anytime I say something that pisses off someone, they always immediately resort to like calling me a pothead and making fun of me for being into weed. And I'm like, oh my God, so original. Anyway, let's keep watching.
So even if cannabis is left to states to regulate, reclassifying cannabis could lead to change for the industry, notably in the form of tax breaks and the lifting of other business-related restrictions. However, a decision on federal rescheduling could still be months away. Scheduled testimony from experts on both sides of the debate was pushed to early 2025, and federal officials need plenty of time to consider the arguments. So while a Trump win likely won't lead to the type of
Smoke Steve, the CBD companies you see selling full spectrum CBD with THC in it, they're hemp based. It's not it's not cannabis. It's that part of that farm bill that opened up the hemp THC market and CBD market. One day Bong will be back, hopefully. Bong Appetit will be tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., probably a repeat. Definitely a repeat. We haven't shot episodes in a long time. Okay, Wilcots. Winslow, it would be great if we could ship across state lines, then we could have cannabis as a regional commodity. Like, it'd be nice to have NorCal Outdoor in New York. I mean, NorCal, you know this. NorCal Outdoor is in New York because all of the weed comes from California. Northern California, it all gets shipped illegally outside of the state. Brad Erickson, Tennessee, saying hi, and they'll have to pry my weed from my cold, dead hands. I love it. Michelle, one of our top tier Florida dispos opened in New York, Winnie. Wow. She's excited. Me too. Christopher, the fuck do they know? Haters gonna hate. That's right. Smoke Steve, 125 milliliters of Lazarus CBD has approximately 5 milligrams of THC. Hemp THC. All right, sorry, we're going to keep watching. I'm reading all these comments.
We're hoping for. The incredible popularity of the plant means that change could be ahead. GOP control of the White House, Senate, and House may lead to skepticism for some, but more Republicans than ever support legalizing weed. But for now, it's back to the wait and see status quo. What do you guys think about this, Jason? I can't wait to hear what you have to say about what's ahead for pot with the Republicans back in charge.
Well, I'm telling you, I am so excited that Republicans are finally back in charge. Now we can finally get some sensible policy.
Ew.
Done. You know, not just for cannabis, but just in general.
What?
But, on the cannabis side, we did have more movement with Republican leadership than we have with Democrats.
I know him. Ew.
Democratic leadership. Democrats just want to spout off little talking points and whatnot and say that they're going to get things done. But when it comes around to getting things done, they're not getting it done.
No. You guys
Oh,
had
good.
all three branches. Like I said in my story, you guys had three branches before.
Yeah, but we had Paul Ryan.
That's
we
right.
stated this. We had Paul Ryan as the speaker, and he was a rhino, bro. He was an obstructionist. Okay, we don't have an obstructionist in place currently. He does need
Joel.
to evolve on the issue of cannabis as far as Speaker Johnson currently, but he is not an obstructionist in the same way that Paul
Jason Beck owns like a dispensary. I don't know if he still owns it, but he owned a dispensary in Hollywood. He's annoying. I probably shouldn't say that, but fuck him. He's annoying.
Ryan was. Paul Ryan was a straight
Hold on,
up
Speaker
rhino.
Johnson does not believe in evolution.
He's super witty, bro. I had a great evening with him, bro. He's a super funny guy.
He doesn't believe in evolution, but he's super witty, man. I just can't believe like some of the like, what does that have to do with anything? This guy just said that he doesn't believe in evolution. Whatever. Fuck.
Yeah, he's got a lot of
But
wit.
he doesn't believe
Why
in
am I watching
evolution,
this?
so what makes you think he's going to evolve on this issue?
Just because you don't believe in evolution doesn't mean you can't evolve on an issue, Rico.
It means you're stupid. Sorry. I'm sorry. You know what it means.
Why you're conflating the two? Very different things.
Oh my God.
This is
Jason.
nuts.
Very different things.
Depends on whether his mama convinced him that smoking weed is bad. That remains to be seen, because that's the problem I see with a lot of these really entrenched anti-drug people. Is my mama said it was bad, so therefore nothing you tells me is going to change my mind.
That's right.
That's
Mommy said
bullshit.
no.
We need to get beyond
There are a bunch of mamas.
this restricted cannabis policy we've had since the 1970s. You can't blame this on a Democrat or a Republican. They've all been horrible on this, and it needs to evolve. And I'd like to see them pull the rug out from underneath the DEA and let them go focus on fentanyl.
Yeah.
Stop chasing everybody with weed. Just leave
Exactly.
that shit alone.
I'm all the way with you on that. And you know, this administration does know that fentanyl is the #1 epidemic plaguing America right now.
You guys, should I get a
know
desk
they
like
are
that?
committed to eradicating fentanyl in these streets.
Deschedule it and leave it up to
I
the
will,
states.
Eddie.
Fucking go.
I'm with that, Stone. I'm all the way about that life. All the way about that life. I think it's gonna be.
Reschedule it. Did he say reschedule it or deschedule it? I think it needs to be like alcohol or tobacco. And as far as like letting the states, do we let either one of those industries, the states each have their own say on what happens in the tobacco and the alcohol industry, or is there some sort of, there's bureaus of the, we're so fucked.
Okay.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be a lot better. That's my opinion. I love this story, Rochelle. Thank you.
I knew you would.
Smoke Steve. So to dissect what you were saying about hemp THC, the compound THC is still the same. I believe if you isolated it and made pure hemp THC, it would be illegal. I think it's about the percentages. No, all of the hemp THC, like you'll see it in the market. They have gummies. They're selling it all over the country, and it's high. It's like 5 milligrams, 10 milligram edibles, and it's because it's coming from hemp. They're concentrating it. That's what I've seen, but I could be wrong. Okay, this is like some weird. We're done watching these people. I don't agree with them. I don't think he's going to be... I think if he legalizes, there's going to be a lot of corruption. I wish that he would... I don't think he's going to do shit. I think he's too scared to do anything. Other than, like, be a giant pussy. Oops, not Vimeo. Oops. I'm showing all... Bonbon! Come here. What can I give you? I don't have any treats I can give you. No. She does a twirl. I'm trying to not put Vimeo. I'm trying to put the next video. I don't know if I'm going to like this. There we go. I'm going to need to get a new email now. Don't email me.
What's up, Benzinga? We are at the Cannabis Market Spotlight in Anaheim at the House of Blues, where we are going to be talking to the top voices in the industry. So let's go. Kyle, thank you so much for joining us. It is always a pleasure to get
Glass House
you
group
here. I just wanted to ask, though, coming to these Benzinga conferences, these panels, what are you kind of hoping, especially after such a trivial week, this election year, what are you hoping to what points are you hoping to get across?
So Abby, thank you for the question. Also, thank you to Benzinga for hosting this amazing conference here.
MJ. Matt Gaetz as Attorney General might be good for weed because he's been active in Congress trying to legalize it. But other than that, guy scares the shit out of me. Yeah, no, he's bad. He's bad. He's a bad man. Bad man. Yeah, dang, I didn't know Gaetz was pro-cannabis. Too bad he's a fucking creep. Right, Bonbon? Okay, I'm gonna pick her up because she's driving me nutso. Let me play this for you and I'll listen.
Here in Southern California. It is the home of cannabis, and someday this will be your biggest conference. I loved Miami, was awesome. But I think this is the hardest market in the world. You can make it in California, you can make it anywhere. And I think to all my fellow participants in this market, you may not like each other. It's in every industry, but let's find that Venn diagram where we can work together to move better policy forward in this state and also federally. And I think we've missed opportunity after opportunity. And if we don't get that together, the market's going to get even harder here in California before it gets better.
I wiped her
And
iGoober on
I
my
want to
pants.
ask, though, how you are feeling after this
Okay.
election. With this administration, what do you expect to see and what are you hoping to see?
Yeah, great question. You know, it's difficult to talk about this because there's so much emotion in this. As the chairman CEO of a large publicly traded company, I don't really have the luxury to get emotional about it. I look at it more strategically. You know, if Ms. Harris won versus Mr. Trump, we have been making inroads with the Trump campaign for the last 90 days. So we've had conversations with them. Ms. Harris from California, we believed good stuff.
Why is she
But she was very insular in how she ran her campaign, so we didn't get a lot, but we were assured, hey, she's from California, she's pro-cannabis. But I'm very optimistic. President Trump pardoned Weldon Angelos, actually did some things.
This guy seems very pro-Trump, so I'm going to shut him up right now. Because fuck that. Yeah, Reefer Madness would be fun to watch. We should watch that. We can do that. Uh-oh. Let me get this one.
I think they had requirements on things that.
Oops. Let's go, baby.
I think they had requirements on things that she didn't want to talk about. She didn't want to talk about marijuana legalization, so I thought was hilarious.
Why?
Like, that's so because of her prosecuting record.
Oh, well, I mean, that was her old job, though.
Yeah, and you know, she put a lot of people in jail for weed.
Oh yeah, how many?
Apparently.
No, she didn't. No, she didn't. No, she didn't. That is a lie. 45 in many years. Ugh.
Oh, 1,500.
Wasn't 1,500.
Those
Are they
1,500
still
together in a
in
row.
prison?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think
Then they're
they were
fine now.
Fuck you,
Well-
man.
Prison really builds.
Fuck you, man. 1,500. Oh, I'm sorry. No, Eddie.
Character.
I think they had requirements on things that she didn't want to talk about. She didn't want to talk about marijuana legalization, so I thought was hilarious.
Why?
Like that's so because of her prosecuting record.
Oh, well, I mean, that was her old job, though.
Yeah, and you know, she put a lot of people in jail for weed.
I can't watch him. He's so full of shit. She put not 1,500 people. It's been debunked. You can read it. I heard what he said, Eddie Moretti.
1,500 apparently.
That's not really
Allegedly.
that many, though. 1,500.
Well, tell those guys. Those 1,500
Are they
together
still
in a
in
room.
prison?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think
Then they're
they
fine
were
now.
released. Well,
Prison really builds
He's
character.
such a butt plug. He is
I think
such
they had
a
requirements
fucking butt plug. I fucking hate him. I know I shouldn't say that, but I'm saying it. She wouldn't talk cannabis with Rogan because she knows he's an asshole, and he's going to say things like that have already been debunked, and she doesn't need to talk to him. I don't know if she wouldn't talk to him about cannabis. She wouldn't talk to him at all, it seems, unless he wanted to go to her. And probably because she didn't want to make it like, oh, I'm only about, like, vote for me, I'm weed. I hate him. What is this? Go away. I'm going to skip past that.
Germany, maybe Mexico, other countries that have.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to get past their intro.
Analytics. Hey, it is an international show with a United States focus. United States leading the world in cannabis legalization.
You know what, Eddie? I don't know what to say about that. She probably didn't want to talk to him about cannabis. Probably because she thinks he's a douchebag, and she'd rather talk about, I don't know. I don't know what she would want to talk to Joe Rogan about and his audience, because it seems like they already had their minds made up. Anyway.
Except for Canada.
Michelle would fight Joe Rogan. Me too.
Paraguay, some parts of Europe, Germany, maybe Mexico, other countries that have legalized it.
But hey, we're number one.
But we're number one because America first.
Sorry, Michelle.
And that's the thing. If we count hemp as legalizing it, we were before Canada. Yeah.
And again, I think the whole Farm Bill hemp thing is.
We got a hempster, Brian. This is such virtue signaling from the hempsters. They're like, oh, we're small business, and then the blue states with their monopolies. Brian, we are not monopolists. Miggy and I are regular people trying to get a shop open.
The consumer loses out in this argument, though, right? When you talk about hemp and cannabis, it's almost like people think like, oh, I could just take CBD and not lose my job. Well,
right.
You guys are funny.
That's how you, trucker.
Or I could just take THCA flower and not lose my job. Sorry, as soon as you light that pre-roll on fire, it's marijuana, and you're in North Carolina. So it does not legalize things. It's not enough. And again, like, that's one of the things that I think is going to actually snap back. They did not intend to legalize it. They didn't. And now it's very conservative at the Hill. And there's dozens of attorney generals asking for them to close the hemp loophole. I think you're going to see the hemp loophole get closed, and I think you're going to see safe, natural cannabis. RFK is all about the safe and the natural. He's talking about raw milk.
He's going to start selling it.
He's talking about bear heads. He's talking about all sorts of things.
And that's what...
No fluoride in water. You think he's going to...
Oh my God, no fluoride in the water. If you want to know about no fluoride in the water and what happens to communities when you take fluoride out of the water, I'm sorry, Winslow, you've heard this like 50 bajillion times from me. It is not good, okay? We put a very small amount of fluoride in the water, and it prevents a lot of tooth decay, which is very bad for our health, right? You can have major health problems if you have unhealthy teeth and gums. So the small amount of fluoride in our water prevents that. How do we know that? Do we have any examples of that in history? Calgary, Alberta. I lived in outside of Edmonton, Alberta, so I know Calgary, Alberta. They took the fluoride out of their water in 2011. What happened? The rate of intravenous antibiotics for children due to dental decay went up 700%. So it's all about the amount of how much fluoride. And someone was arguing with me in the comments, which I'm really trying not to do that anymore. But they were saying, oh, well, you can just put your own fluoride in your water if you want to put fluoride in your water. And I'm like, oh my God, that will get people sick, people trying to dose themselves. Anyway, so bye, MJ Lee. Thank you so much for hanging out. And I can't wait for you to get the book. Doug Benson to replace Joe Rogan. That's funny. I know, it's crazy. It's wild. It's really insane what fluoride does. So Calgary is trying to put the fluoride back into their water. And it's insane. So yeah, don't fluoridate. Someone said that to me. They're like, well, you can just put fluoride in your water. And I was like, that's nuts. I can just take the fluoride out of the water. I can get a filter and filter it out of my water. But for the most part, you know, like we need help with our teeth. How does everyone floss twice a day and use mouthwash and brush twice, you know, like do all of that, preferably like 3 times a day after every meal? Every time you eat, do you do that? I don't fucking do that. So a little bit of fluoride in the water. Anyway, and the whole thing is like, oh no, too much of it, and it can decrease the IQ in children because this one study said that. And so, okay, well, prove it. Show me way more studies, and also like we know for sure that's the fluoride. Anyway, whatever. Dumb. I'm on, well, no fluoride in my water. You can add it. No, there's no fluoride in bottled water. It's in our tap water. I'm on, well, no fluoride in my water. You can add it. Yeah, Harry, I mean, yeah, you can add it. I wouldn't. I don't know. Whatever. Let's not talk about fluoride.
I have no fluoride in water and THCO. Come on.
But these deep breaths, dude. This whole next administration. I mean, it is. At first, you start off like the meme from Simpsons where the kid's in the chair and he's just like, "I'm in danger." And then
yeah, exactly. And then it's gonna be like a fire all around us.
A fire. You're like, everything's fine.
Yeah. No, and then Brian also no, it's not the real social equity. My client is. I actually got sued again this week because of a lawsuit that I'm in, defending real social equity, like Miggy and my client. And the corporatist, I could say the guy that is on the other side of the V is completely a corporatist, but he sued me for tortious interference of his illegal contract, which you can't interfere with an illegal contract. But many people denigrate social equity and also limited licenses or licenses, you know, nobody knows what derogation means anymore. And so, like, there was no common law right for you to sell weed. There wasn't. So the statute has to be.
Oh no, I don't want to do that.
Created.
Get out of
here.
here.
You have to create these new rights. And as a result, you must strictly
I'm subscribed
follow
already.
laws, one of which is disclosure of who the actual
I don't know.
owner is. And when they go around those
6.8,
you risk your contracts being found to be illegal or invalid. But still, like the hempsters, they need to go back to making rope. They need to go back to making, you know, seeds. They need to go back to making industry, and they need to stop selling weed without a license.
Wow.
And, you know, in my belief is everything about this plant's legalization comes down now to intent of how you grow and how you harvest and all. It's like what you're planning on using it for, right? Like it should be a post-harvest regulation, but right now we have this idiotic 0.3 defines it.
We only have the production side. We have no use side. And, so, and the FDA is very clear. It's not supposed to go in our food supply.
Right.
So RFK gutting the FDA, you think we're going to get rules from the FDA about how to
That's what I'm saying.
cannabinoid products?
Right.
No way. You
Yep.
think we're going to get, and then with,
and that's what
they overturn the loop.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I was just thinking that I'm like, okay, if they deschedule cannabis, they make it like tobacco, like alcohol. Well, the FDA, they have a whole bureau that regulates those industries, and they're gonna gut all of that. So like we're fucked. People are like, oh yeah, like that guy, whatever the fuck his name is, who owns the dispensary. I'm really swearing a lot tonight, but this topic is pissing me off, because I think it's like such an easy, like, oh, just it's people get excited about it, like, yeah, he's gonna make it easier for businesses to operate, less regulations, less this, less that, and I just don't. It's not gonna
overturn the Chevron doctrine. There's no more deference to the administration. So you think that the FDA is going to have the authority to be able to write rules to create how they're going to regulate cannabinoid products made for human consumption? Absolutely not. And every single red state that was voting, the people that was voting for legalization of natural weed voted against it.
Yeah, well, and again, a lot of misinformation, a lot of people misunderstanding of what we're going through, and it's only not. It's not going to get better. Like let's talk about the incoming Senate Majority Leader. Like the
yes, yeah, South Dakota. South Dakota was one of the states that failed to legalize it, and he is the senator from South Dakota, John.
Hi, Taz.
This guy is no friend of natural marijuana. Why he would be the friend of HHC or THCO or THCA masquerading as hemp is beyond me. But he is now in charge of the 53, I think, members, majority of the Republicans in the Senate, or will be after January when they're all sworn in for the next Congress. I do not see any marijuana legalization or liberalization bill getting called in the Senate. But that doesn't matter because the other house, it's not like when the Democrats were in charge of the House and there's a 50-50 deadlock in the Senate. Now the Republicans are also in charge of the House. So I don't think the MORE Act is going to be called. I don't think the States Act is going to be called. No. They aren't going to magically change the policy tune that they've had for the past dozens of years. And I'm not trying to get political against the Republicans.
I'm going to get a drink.
Call your elected representative and say that you want natural weed. Or if you're selling this fake shit, say, like, keep letting us sell the fake shit.
But this is going to be such a horrendous, and we hate to be gloom and doom, right? Like when we went through this the first 4 years, I even said, like, you don't, having bad leadership or having a bad leadership, pretty much, you don't hope for a bad pilot, right? Like that's not what we want. It has whatever disdain that we have, it has nothing to do with besides he's a bad human being, but the shitty leadership that happened during that last, because this guy Thune is among the 26 GP members who earlier this year called upon.
I don't think, I know they're very not optimistic about it. I got one of these. Voila. Ooh! Voila. Voila. Okay, so Eddie says Trump administration ain't gonna do nothing. I agree.
On U.S. Attorney.
Do you guys, are you enjoying these guys, or do you want me to change it to someone else? We have stuffing after this. Let's keep watching this.
Merrick Garland to reject the recommendation to reschedule. So,
right,
another way to stimulate it. These guys are going to stimulate anything that's been going progressively forward. And then hemp, once you get that locked up, you let the cat out of the bag as it's been. Real social equity is going to be a federal policy, right? Rescheduling.
Oh no, they can't do real social equity anymore because that's a DEI program, and you're not allowed to do those. But let's not get political. Half of our audience gets upset when we get political. We're just trying to be practical, or like, this is what they've done.
Right.
And so if this is what they've done, why am I going to gaslight you into believing they're suddenly going to change their tune after what they've done hasn't changed for decades? But yeah, John Thune was against the rescheduling. His state rejected, this people of his state rejected voting for legalizing it for adult use.
Jack Finnegan, there's an expression in Italian. We say, when someone says vediamo, which means we'll see, or vedremo. Vedremo. We'll see. You say, dice il cieco, which means says the blind man.
However, there are some bright spots in the cabinet. For example, the HHS has a lot to say about if it will continue to be rescheduled, and so does the Department of Justice. Those two administrative wings under the executive branch of government really control under the Controlled Substances Act. If you can move cannabis, you can't deschedule it. Congress needs to act on that, and Congress is stacked with.
Okay. I don't want to watch them either. I'm sorry, Eddie Moretti. Let's watch Martha's stuffing. That's more exciting for me. I think we need some food. I'm hungry.
For enough stuffing to stuff a 20-pound bird and have a little bit left over for a casserole, melt 12 tablespoons of unsalted butter and add 4 large onions. I like to use a good sweet yellow onion or a white onion, which is really sweet, right into the melted butter. The onion's coarsely chopped. Saute this until it's translucent, just a couple of minutes. When you're making stuffing, it's really a good idea to have all the ingredients prepared ahead of time. After about 2 minutes, add 16 stalks of celery that have been finely chopped. You know, stuffing tends to keep the bird nice and plump looking, and the stuffing really is enhanced by roasting it inside the bird. There's a lot of talk about...
Dice is, I don't remember what tense it is, but it's dice. It's not dice. It's dice il cieco. D-I-S-S-E. Vedremo.
The dangers.
My suocera used to, I'd be like, vedremo, vedremo. She'd be like, dice il cieco.
Of stuffing a bird and roasting it with a...
Pre-felony Martha. She's hot. Did everyone watch her?
Stuffing in it. But if you're very careful and don't stuff the bird until right before you're ready to roast it, and that the stuffing and the bird are the same temperature, you really don't have to worry. Continue cooking.
Did you hear that?
And the onion for about...
So, because you don't want to put it into a cold bird, because like people were getting sick from stuffing because it wasn't heating up fast enough to kill like as the bacteria. Anyway.
5 minutes. Then add 10 sage leaves that have been cut up. These are fresh sage leaves. About 2 teaspoons. Let that cook 5 minutes. And don't forget, while you're preparing the stuffing, to prepare a basic turkey stock using the giblets and the neck of the turkey with a little bit of white.
Okay, so we're doing this Saturday. Martha's Ruin. Did anyone watch Martha and Snoop? That was the only show other than Bong Appetit that even mentioned cooking with pot. I didn't ever know if they actually used weed. I'm sorry for the squeaking. It's my dog. Martha and Snoop was a great match. I know. I wish that they would come back, you know. Hi, Breeze Tones. Welcome to the live stream. There's no late. You're always on time. Right on time. Time to get stoned.
Wine, onion, carrot, and celery. And let that cook for a couple hours. That's going to be the moisture that you add to the stuffing. And now we can get 2 pounds of the most delicious white bread or peasant bread that you can find. And this we call country bread from our local store.
Okay, maybe I'll make some loaves. I did just feed my starter. I'm trying to think of what I should make. So I'm going to tell you all a story. I used to work at a fancy ceramic store called Heath Ceramics. Very pretty plates. Anyway, this beautiful model came in, famous, and she told me about her turkey. I was like, what do you like to do for Thanksgiving? Like, what's your go-to recipe? And she said it was turkey stuffing, like balls, Thanksgiving balls. And I was kind of thinking of doing something like that.
Or in Westport called Heyday. 2 pounds cut into good-sized cubes. I'd say a little bit more than an inch cube.
J.L. Sanders,
Now,
maybe
this
one
looks
day.
Perfect. It's a nice bright color. The celery is soft. The onions are soft.
Michelle, you can take the sausages and the skin and the intestine, and you can just cut them open, take that meat out. It's the same. Italian sausage is hard to find, like good Italian sausage in LA, but Michelle Snoop will never cheat on Martha. I know. I might be like too on the nose. You know what I mean? Like, who knows? Maybe. You never know. Maybe we can have like have a poly kind of a thing. I'll cook for them. Martha is tired.
Add about a cup of stock.
She's not tired. She's probably never tired. But, you know, she's cooked a lot. Love to cook for her. Yeah. Yeah, Breeze Tones.
And now transfer this mixture
Totally.
to half of the bread. You can just pick this
Half
up
of the
and
bread.
pour it right
Interesting.
in. Wish
Beautiful.
You were here. The smells are really good.
Amazing. Look at her go. Stir it up. Look at that big ass bowl. Love that bowl.
Now this will soften the bread. Add 2 bunches of parsley. And the parsley should be the flat leaf variety, which is very fragrant. And
Perhaps
finely
Nigella is down for a brownie. I'd love that too. I love Nigella.
Add the rest of your bread.
Microwave.
Probably about 5 cups of stock altogether to keep this nice and moist.
Oh wow! So you
2
add.
teaspoons of salt.
So she added it to half of the bread, right? Stirred that all up. Because if she had added it to all of the bread, it wouldn't, like, none of the bread would have gotten fully saturated in those flavors. Then she adds the rest of the bread.
Salt.
Interesting.
Coarse salt.
Okay.
Which I always use.
Okay, 2 things. Hi, Jessica Verducci. Don't worry, you're never late. But if you have any questions, you can ask them now. Sean Carter, I am sad she did not scrape that pan and just left so many bites. Sigh, LOL. I saw that too, and I think she saw it too. But she's on camera, right? So she's got to move pretty quickly, and she didn't. I don't know if she just like didn't have a tool there to do it, or her arm strength wasn't strong enough to hold the pan and then have a spoon and do that. But she did the best she could, and she's working pretty quickly, right? Because she's trying to get a shot. So that's what I would say about Martha. I think if Martha was at her making it just for herself, like, she definitely would have got that in. If you look, watch, you'll see she pauses. I want you to look. She hesitates at the stove. Okay? She kind of has this moment where she's like, should I add that?
Sure, the smells are really good.
Right? Watch. There. Do you see that? She looked and she's like, I don't know. I'm not going to do anything. We're going to leave it. Maybe I'm just making up excuses for her. I don't care. I love her. I love Martha.
And the parsley should be the flat leaf variety, which is very fragrant and finely chopped.
P.D. Anderson, I think I'm going to make the pumpkin bars for Thanksgiving, but I'd kill for a recipe for making THC eggnog for December festivities. Ooh, we could do an eggnog recipe for December. Totally. Yeah, add the salt in stages, too.
And you're going to add probably about 5 cups of stock altogether to keep this nice and moist.
Moist.
2 teaspoons of salt.
Yeah, I would put that salt in the
Coarse salt,
stock.
which I always use, the kosher variety.
I use kosher too.
And add 4.
I like to dissolve salt in stock or liquid, then put it in, because then it gets more.
Teaspoons of freshly ground black pepper. You can look for telecherry peppercorns.
Is she gonna put
whatever
raisins?
smells really good and fragrant. And now add about 3 more cups of stock to this.
Wait. Okay, wait.
Add the stock.
Do you guys see this comment here? This was filmed back when Martha was using amphetamines. I'm glad things turned around for her. That is so
Keep
fucked up.
looking at your bread. You don't want it to be soggy and heavy with stock.
What?
All you want it to be is moist and fluffy.
Simon,
So I've
you
added
took more of
about,
an edible?
A little bit more
Good.
than 3 cups. And because this bread was so fresh, I'm
Welcome,
not going to add
Simon.
any more. You don't want it to be real
Welcome.
soggy. If the bread were stale bread, you could use a little bit more. But this looks great. It's not soggy, it's just the bread still has a little bit of its shape. And now 2 cups of dried sour cherries.
Oh no,
And
even
1.5
worse.
cups of chopped fresh
Even
pecans.
worse. I love her.
Now you can taste this and just check for the salt and pepper. Well, cool it off and get it into that bird, because you know what? You can eat this whole bowl just as is. It's so good.
I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do you want to go back to that other video? I'm going to let you vote.
What a time to be alive, you know?
Okay, just 1 second. 1, we don't know if we're going to get in trouble. I'm going to do a little poll for everybody. Sour cherries sound good to you. Okay. All right, fine. We'll let it slide. I'd have to try it. What kind of stuffing are we going to do? How do I add? There we go. Oh, I don't know where my poll is. Why can't I add my poll? Do you all want... Michelle, I changed the content for you. Do you all want more of those guys talking about whether or not Trump is going to legalize, or do you want more stuffing recipes? I feel like the food stuff is making me happy. Let's see what Carla does and make sure there's no sound. Should we see Nigella? Let me look it up. Let's see. I don't know. This is a chicken. Copy. Yeah, we can't. We're too stoned, right? So there you go. We want to watch food. Oh, we can't. I'm gonna get in trouble for that. Nigella, I think, right? What is this? Where's the recipe? She's making cranberry sauce. All right. I don't think Nigella is the right one. Recipe cook-off. I feel like if we do someone too famous, stuffing, I want to see if there's like a sausage. Do you call it dressing or stuffing? Asking you all. I wonder if this will be safe. I just don't want to get us shut down. That sounds generic. Oops. Let's turn it down.
If you were to ask someone what their favorite part of the Thanksgiving meal was, what they're most thankful for on Thanksgiving, anybody who doesn't say the stuffing
Hi,
is
Occult
lying to someone.
45. Welcome.
This is Kenji Lopez-Alt of Serious Eats and the Food Lab, and today I'm going to show you how to
My
make my
prefixes?
favorite sage and
What?
sausage stuffing, or dressing if you want to call it dressing.
Queen.
It's really easy,
Principessa.
only a few ingredients.
Reina.
You can make it ahead and bake it off on the day of. Here's how we do it.
I would put the gizzards in the gravy.
Start by preheating your oven to 275 degrees Fahrenheit. Next, cut 2.5 pounds of bread into cubes. I like crustless white Pullman loaves for their moist.
You know what Italians would say about that, right? They call that kind of bread cake.
Tender texture. But
I think I'm gonna make sourdough. I think I'm gonna make a loaf of sourdough because I got my starter out because she's a little sad. But I felt inspired because I saw Pamela Anderson named her starter, and I was like, well, I want to name my starter. And let me do this again. You guys can see my messy table. Put my phone up here. Make it a little smaller. Okay. We got two things going on. So he's got 2.5 pounds of white Pullman bread, whatever. Okay.
But you can use heartier bread if you prefer.
I do prefer.
For soft bread, I
I
find
do
a sharp
prefer.
chef's knife cuts better than a bread knife.
She makes her own
Transfer
sausage.
the bread to 2 rimmed baking sheets, then place them in the oven to toast for about 45 minutes, rotating the pans halfway through cooking. Our goal here is to dry the bread out, which also allows it to absorb more flavor down the line.
Okay.
Stale or not, it really makes no difference at all. Now to start making
Dry
our
it
flavor
out.
base.
Decarb your
Begin by
bread.
Melting a stick of butter in a large Dutch oven over medium-high heat, swirling it until the foaming starts to subside. Now
I'm
add
smoking
1.5
again,
of saved
Michelle.
sausage
I'm
for
smoking
breakfast.
again.
To break it up, I like
She's
to use a
smoking
potato
again.
masher.
Oh
You've probably
yeah,
already
she's
got it out for
smoking
your mashed potatoes,
again.
and it makes short work of crumbling ground meat.
Wow,
It's
I need a
much easier
potato
than using
masher.
spoon. In about 8 minutes, when the sausage
Wow.
is mostly cooked through,
Yes.
add a chopped yellow onion,
Okay.
4 chopped ribs of celery,
Yep.
2 cloves of minced garlic,
Oops.
and a 1/4 cup of minced fresh sage leaves.
You got it.
Cook,
You got
stirring
that?
until the vegetables are softened. This should take about 10
Let
minutes
me get
longer.
this.
Then take the pan off of the heat.
Not that.
Now for the liquids. I
What's
like my
up
stuffing to be
there?
very moist, with the texture almost like savory bread pudding. To get this, I combine 3 eggs with a 1/4 cup of minced fresh
There we go.
parsley leaves and 2 cups of chicken or turkey broth. Then I whisk it all together.
He whisks it all
To
together.
keep the eggs from setting as I add them to the hot sausage mixture, I first
Hot
add another 2 cups
sausage.
of broth.
Wow. You can just let the drip bread dry in open air. Totally. You totally can. Or you can dry it out in the oven. You can dry it out in the oven. Michelle. Well, good for you. You've been eating it? Have you been eating it?
To the sausage to cool it down.
Wow.
Then I slowly drizzle in the egg mixture, stirring with a wooden
Egg?
spoon the entire time.
Whoa.
Now add the dried bread cubes to the pot.
I don't know about that.
At first it's going to seem like way too much bread. But
It's
as you
not.
gently fold the mixture together, the bread should absorb every last drop.
You got it.
That's it. Keep folding. Keep
Okay.
folding. Keep folding. And there we are. At this stage, you can save the mixture in the fridge for a few days. When you're ready to bake and serve, preheat the oven
Maybe I'll
to
do a mix
350
of breads.
degrees Fahrenheit, then butter a 13 by 9 inch casserole dish. Transfer
You
the
get
mixture to
different
the dish and then spread it out
flavors.
evenly with a wooden spoon, leaving the top surface kind of rough for better
But not
surface
cornbread.
area. Cover it
That's
tightly
a
with
different.
aluminum foil. This is going to help it steam during the first stage of cooking, which should give you moisture and results.
Never heard of egg and stuffing.
Transfer it to the oven and bake for about
Never heard of
45
it.
minutes. The internal
Then it
temperature of the
becomes like a
stuffing should
custard.
register around 150 degrees at this stage. Take off the foil and continue baking until the stuffing is browned and crisp, about 15 to 20 minutes longer. We're getting just about ready to serve it now. When you pull it out,
What did
from the
Michelle
oven,
say?
You want to see it jiggle slightly.
Oh,
on the
okay.
edge, like a good custard pie. Okay, actually, it should jiggle a lot. And that's the real key to this stuffing. The moist custard-like center packed with buttery.
So this
savory
is like a
flavor,
stuffing
contrasted with the
custard.
crisply brown crust all
I'm
around.
into it.
Let it cool slightly. Sprinkle it with some more parsley, and then it's just missing one last
I'd
thing.
eat the shit out of
What was
that.
again?
Gravy.
Oh, right.
Fuck up.
The gravy. Never forget the gravy.
Never. I have gravy. Throw some. Okay, I loved it. That's interesting. I don't know if we can watch this. Do you think we can watch it?
I'm Frank Proto, professional chef and culinary instructor, and today I'm going to show you the best way to make stuffing.
Okay.
I'm going to show you how to make stuffing that's going to keep them coming back for seconds, or thirds, and possibly fourths. This is stuffing 101. I truly believe that stuffing is one of the most important dishes on your Thanksgiving table. First of all, it soaks up a lot of gravy, and it's really delicious.
Yes.
Second of all, we get to use up any leftover bread we might have. And third of all, you can make it in so many different ways.
Third of all.
One of the major pitfalls with stuffing is that it's either too wet or too dry. And what I'm going to show you is how to find that middle ground where your stuffing has the perfect texture.
Tell me. Give me the secret, chef.
There's a lot of different bread.
Tell me.
I'm going to use a baguette. You can use sourdough, rye bread, white bread. It's pretty much whatever you prefer. But the reason I choose the baguette is that it's sturdy. It holds together.
I'm doing it this way this
doesn't disintegrate
time.
when I start to add all the other ingredients to it. I like to use day-old baguettes. It's already started the process of drying out. All right, let's cube up this bread. I'm just going to take a half a loaf right now. I leave the crust on. I like the flavor of the crust. I like the way it looks. And we're going to cut it in half and half again, and then into nice cubes. These cubes go onto a tray to start that drying process.
Oh, wait.
Now that I have the bread cut, I want it to dry
Not
out
the
for a few days
Sony.
and get
This.
really firm. If you don't
I'm
have
so
the
bad
time
at
to
this,
let it
you
dry
guys.
out for a couple of days, what I like to do is take this, put it in a low oven, 200, 250 degrees, until it gets most of the moisture out. In front of me, I have a tray of bread that's already been dried. And if you look at it, you squeeze on it, it doesn't go anywhere, right? It's firm. If you drop it, it doesn't shatter, but it's really loud. It's not soft at all. We have nice dried chunks of bread.
Okay, they dry out the bread. Chapter 2.
One thing
oh my
I
God,
love
how
about
many
this
chapters?
dish is that it's one of those things you can do ahead. It actually tastes better after a day or two. So I got some oil in the pan.
True.
And I'm going to fry off my sausage. I'm using breakfast sausage.
I love
out of the
bread.
casing. I feel like the flavor of
I love
breakfast
bread.
sausage mirrors a lot
I
of the
love
flavors
bread.
we use in Thanksgiving already. Sage, thyme. So that's what I'm going with.
Sage,
a lot of breakfast
thyme.
sausage has a high proportion of fat. And I want that in my stuffing. It flavors the whole stuffing. Let's go in the pan. And I
He's
know it
doing
looks like a lot of
sausage.
sausage.
It's not.
But I'm feeding a lot of people. It's
Oh,
Thanksgiving.
shit.
So I'm going to get this in the pan.
Get it in there.
Start cooking it.
Hot
and
pan.
Start breaking it up into little chunks.
Hot pan.
What we're trying to do
'cause
here
it's an
is
all
render off
stainless steel. You want to heat it up. Get it nice and hot.
some of that fat and brown our sausage so we get that caramelization and those caramelized flavors. So break it up as you go. One of the great things about stuffing is you can use a lot of different flavors. If you don't like breakfast sausage, find some chorizo. If you don't like chorizo, you can use Italian sausage. It's really adaptable to what you want in your stuffing. You'll notice that I'm not putting any
Gluten?
salt and pepper
Can't have
on this.
gluten, Michelle?
Most sausages come seasoned already, and I'll season the whole dish later on rather than trying to season the sausage. There's salt, there's flavor in here already.
Jessica Verducci, are you, my grandmother would put my family recipe was to put hard-boiled eggs in lasagna.
I don't think we.
Wait, Winslow, scroll up. Vanessa, do you have any tips on how to roll the perfect joint? I don't know. This isn't that great. I don't think. Oh, damn the dog. I really wanted you guys to see her, but she just wants to sit in her little... Okay, let me see if I can get her. Sorry, it's going to be at a wonky angle, but you guys all have to live with it, because this is what you get. Bye-bye. Oh. Look at her face. Oh my God, I love her. Okay, tell me if anything scary shows up in the window, okay? That's someone's job. Someone has to watch the window. What about cornbread stuffing? JL Sanders, I don't do cornbread stuffing, but you know, you can. I should try it. Should I try that? I'm watching. Oh, Bonbon side eye. She just wants to see what's outside. Hi, Bonbon. She's sleepy now. That's how she's gonna sleep. She's 3 joints in. I know. I'm stoned. Sorry, Michelle.
We need to add any more to that. The sausage is nice and brown.
Oops.
It's cooked most of the way through. And we're going to use that slotted spoon
Sour
to take
bread
out
stuffing.
the sausage, leaving as much of the fat behind as I
Okay,
can.
what are we gonna do
If I
with that
tilt the
fat?
pan back and run my sausage up to the back of the pan, you can see that I'm getting a lot of the fat draining off as I take it out.
Okay.
And now I can start cooking my vegetables for the stuffing.
Yeah, you
All right,
could
so
do
we
some
just let the
turkey
fat
in
from
your
the sausage
stuffing.
Get hot, and we
Why
can
not?
add our onions in. All the
Smoked
vegetables
Steve,
for my
you like
stuffing
my
are
dog?
rough chopped or large chopped. I want to still see them in the finished dish, so I go a little bigger on the vegetables. Whenever I cook onions, I always add just a little bit of salt. It's going to draw out the moisture and let our onions start breaking down. I'm also going to add just a little bit of pepper now too. I like to season throughout the process. So you can see my
She's
onions are
watching
starting
to
get
make
brown.
sure.
We can add our
She's
celery
on guard.
now. A lot of times with stuffing, you'll see celery. Celery
She heard some coyotes. That's why she's like that. She wants to. They're out. This is when they start howling.
is just that flavor profile that goes really well with this. So once our celery starts to cook down, I can add my bay leaf. I have some chopped thyme,
Wow.
some sage, and some rosemary. Just stir those in. Chopped garlic goes in at the end because it tends to burn really quick. And if I put it in earlier,
Yeah.
I have burnt garlic, not toasted.
Put your garlic in at the end, but it looks like he burnt the bottom of that pan already.
All right, my veggies look good. They're starting to get fragrant, and now it's time for the butter. It looks like a lot of
Yeah,
butter,
'cause
and
your
yes,
shit
it
on
is
the
a lot of
bottom
butter,
burnt.
But that butter is going to soak into that bread, with the stock and the sausage, and it's going to make this.
I like to make, okay, and I know people won't agree with this because it's kind of like obscure, but I would take all that butter, right, and I would put it with garlic and herbs and chestnuts, peeled chestnuts, and I would confit them in that butter, and then I would chop them up and put them in with the sausage stuffing. That's what I would do.
Stuffing so delicious and moist. Thanksgiving and the holidays is no time to skimp on the butter. So you can see that I have some brown bits on the bottom. That's my fond. And that's where all the concentrated flavor is. Once we add the stock to this, that's going to melt and give us some nice caramelized flavors. All right, we're done. I can shut my heat off. And what I'm going to do with this now is add it to my sausage. Get all the butter in there, scrape it into your.
I like
mix it all
rosemary.
together. I'm gonna take
Bye,
the bay leaf
Petra.
out, get rid of the bay leaf.
Have a good night.
I have
Thanks
all
for
my
joining
cooked
us.
Ingredients in the bowl: the sausage, the herbs, the veggies, the butter. Now all we really have to do is get this mixed in with our bread and some stock, and then bake it in the oven. It's time to put everything together. So the bread goes in first. It's going to start soaking up all the liquid right away, and that's what we want. Make sure you have a big enough bowl for this because if you don't, it's
big
going
enough
everywhere.
bowl. You got look at that volume. I need a volume
You
thing
take
like
your
that.
sausage and aromatics and butter, and you put it over the
Pyrex.
top.
Ooh.
And what this is going to do is start soaking into the
He
bread.
needs a bigger bowl.
Immediately.
He needs a bowl like
And that's what we
Martha.
want.
Martha's
I'm gonna
bowl
add
was
some
big
stock.
enough.
I'm not going
Of
to
course,
add it all
Martha's
at
bowl
once.
was
I'm
big
gonna
enough.
add it and see where we're at. So I'm going to go about half. I'm using chicken stock. It is kind of a neutral stock. It's going to add some background flavor, but it's not going to take over. We're going to start mixing. And what I'm
Wow.
looking for here is that my bread starts to get a little soaked with all of the flavorings and the stock. I think it's a good time to also add some salt and pepper. Our bread is kind of bland compared to the sausage, so we do want to season this really well. Keep on
Yeah.
mixing and stirring. I'm going to let this soak for about 5 minutes, just so that we start seeing our bread is softening. We don't want to put this in the oven when our bread is still hard. You can see that it's already starting to soften up. And that's what we want, but we want it to be a little softer than this. And it's time to put it into our baking dish. I'm not going to butter my baking dish. We have a lot of butter in the stuffing already. So let's just dump it in. Ooh, yeah. I'm just going to kind of let it settle in here. Stuffing is usually
Yum.
put inside the bird when the bird's roasting. Dressing is something that we make outside of the bird.
Did she
in a
melt
dish
her
like
bowl?
this. I don't like stuffing my bird with stuffing.
Sean Carter
The main
just
reason
bought
that it
his
makes
first
the bird
giant
taste
mixing bowl
longer to
early
cook.
in
For me,
this
in my
year.
mind, it's
Good for you.
interchangeable. I'm not going to split hairs.
I know. It's like
It's a
eventually
stuffing,
you're
it's a
like, I
dressing.
can't do this
I'm not
anymore.
gonna argue about it.
I
I'm gonna
can't
put it in the oven for about a
spill
half
things
hour.
all
What
over
I'm
the
mainly
counter
looking for
because
is
my
that the
bowl
top
is too
gets nice
small.
and crispy, and we don't have any moisture left in here. All the moisture is sucked into the bread. So let's
sucked
get
into the
oven,
bread.
and we get to eat.
Like the bread pudding I made today. This is just a savory-ish
About a half
bread
hour, my
pudding.
stuffing is out of the oven. And if you look at it, the top is a little dried out. There's a lot of crunchy bits. There's some soft bits. It's got a lot of textural difference going on, and that's what makes me so happy about stuffing. There's a lot going on in a few little bites. We finally get to Thanksgiving dinner. I got my turkey, my green beans, my mashed
Yum, look at
potatoes,
that plate.
my cranberry
Green
sauce,
beans.
my gravy. We saved the best for last. We got the stuffing. Right there. It's kind of like the place of honor. That's the head
Oh
of
my
the
God,
table
I
right
think I
here.
need to
Look
make
at this
everything
beautiful
all
plate
over
front.
again.
It's got everything on it, and it's got a really nice mound of stuffing.
Winslow, I hope you're
without
hungry.
further ado, let's give it a taste. Of course, I want to dip it in a little bit of gravy, and luckily my mashed potatoes are holding the gravy.
I'm so hungry.
You can really taste all the.
Fucking A, man. That looks really great. All right, everybody. I'm hungry. And we've been hanging out for a couple hours. So, PD Anderson, Vanessa, have you thought about doing a holiday themed sesh where you feature a recipe for each of the holidays? Maybe you could even pick a recipe for the rest of us who celebrate Festivus. Yeah, we can do something like that. Why not? We can just watch recipes. It's so fun. Okay, Eddie Moretti, we'll trust you on those mozzarella cubes. JL Sanders, so he said stuffing goes in the bird and the dressing on the side. I just thought it was the same thing, but people just called it different things. That makes sense. Dressing is if you don't, so his would be a dressing because it wasn't stuffed into the bird. So if you want to be really particular about it. I really like this flower. Oops, I'm hungry. Sorry, Bonbon. Oops, I just knocked her camera. My bad. Look at her. Look at her. Look at my little angel dog. She's a sweet little baby. Little baby. We'll just leave it there. She's sleeping. Impromptu. It's 6:31. I haven't had dinner yet. I don't know what I'm going to have for dinner. Probably, I might have some pasta. I have a bunch of vegetables in my fridge. I have some zucchini. So I usually, if I'm hungry and I'm tired, although I don't have any bacon. Fuck. What do I have? Anyway, I'm going to think of something to eat. And I hope you all had a good night. Thanks for hanging out. My tiny dog is sleeping. I know she's not being a good guard dog, but she doesn't hear anything out there. So she's not so worried. And I will see you all on Saturday. We're going to make stuffing, and I'll figure out how we're going to do it. I think it's pretty unanimous we're going to use sausage. I'm thinking I'm going to do a sourdough. Maybe we'll do something with a cornbread. Let's figure it out. We'll vote on it in my Patreon. Let me drop these links before you go. Patreon. Oops. Let's do... Get rid of him. Go like this. I'm going to enjoy my dinner. It's true. Whatever it is that I make. What's everyone having for dinner? Give me some ideas. Here's the Patreon, everybody. And if you got here late, I dropped the cookbook link as well. Because pre-orders matter. We're going to head out. Me and Bonbon. I mean, she's not going anywhere. Let me see if I can actually just... No, I don't want this offer. Here's the cookbook. We love it. And if you join the club, we have a group chat. Love the group chat. Meatballs and a big salad. That sounds really good. Everyone sleep well. I'm so stoned right now. I had this bread pudding. That video's coming soon. Winslow and I are working on it. Okay? Have a good night. I gotta go work out in the morning. I'm lifting weights. Let me light it up.